Welcome back to another episode of a Digital Wrap Up. My name is Riley and I'm the host and I'm the CEO and digital director of Harden Digital and Design. I'm excited to be back for another episode in the new podcast studio. This is now the third episode in the podcast studio. So if you aren't already watching on YouTube, go to youtube.com/@Harden Digital and you can see all of the previous episodes, the past two. Now this is the third, and all future episodes of the Digital Wrap Up on YouTube. So if you enjoy watching videos on YouTube versus listening to a podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify, you can do that now and check out the new studio. Today's episode is I'm going to be discussing something that frankly, I'm surprised I haven't discussed before this point, and that is when is the best time to post on social media? This is a question that kind of comes up a lot, and it's something we get asked a lot, and it's something that's really hard in a way to answer because there's no definite 100% correct answer to that question. And when dealing with social media, there's so many different factors to consider, and really it varies from platform to platform, even for each of the accounts. So it's something that I think gets over popularized. Ooh, that's a tough one. To in the social media management kind of world is people who give a definite answer to this or have specific times that they say are the best times, like Monday at 9 a.m. or whatever, is it's really hard to put a definite answer to that. So be wary of the people who give a straightforward, just Monday at 9 a.m. answer because it really varies. And I'm going to talk about some of the different factors that make it so hard to answer. And so we get asked that a lot when both from our clients and from just the general public people talking to us about social media is when is this best time to post for my platforms or for my profiles. And the short answer is that it really depends on which platform. That's one of the factors, and it really just you have to test it's something that I'm always kind of emphasizing test different times out, test different forms of content, really see what works best for you. It varies from, like I said, account to account, and each business and each different client, I guess, that we manage. The answer is different for each of them, even if it's client A's Facebook and client B's Facebook could have two completely different answers, and it's really just based on the audience and when they're most online, when they're most engaged, and things like that. So short answer is there's not a best time for that works universally for everybody, and there's different analytics that you can look at. You know, Facebook used to have great analytics, and I was just digging around forever in the ever complicated Facebook Meta Business Suite, and I simply couldn't find the analytics for. They used to have kind of an account overview of when followers are most engaged, and I think they've kind of changed up how their native analytics look, and I simply couldn't find it. So if I can't find it, it's buried, and it makes it harder for just the average person to find as well. I know TikTok has their own analytics now, and I will show you kind of what TikToks look like. And so if you didn't know, you can go to tiktok.com/analytics. And if you have a business account or a creator account, you can look at this overview, and it shows you the broad overview, your latest post, and then followers as well. And unfortunately, we are at 95 followers on the Harden Digital TikTok account. So they kind of want you to be at or require 100 followers. If you can see down here, if you are watching the YouTube video, get more insights once you reach 1,000 or 100 followers. So we're right on the edge of that. And so unfortunately, I can't give you a better breakdown of how the follower activity looks like on TikTok for us at the moment, but it's likely just a bar graph like some of the other ones are, where it shows day by day breakdown or hour by hour breakdown of when your followers are most active on the platform or most engaged with you on the platform. So that's TikTok. It's actually, you can't see that on the app itself, but TikTok analytics are something on your computer that you can go find. Another tool or another native one. So we talked about Facebook, and now we're on to Facebook and TikTok, and now we're on to Instagram. Instagram does have a breakdown on their native app as well, and if you have a business account, again, that's kind of crucial for a lot of it. A lot of the different platforms is having a business account that opens up a lot more insights for you across the board. So on Instagram, and it's going to be hard to show, but I'll do my best here because I have to show it on the phone itself, is when you go into the kind of waffle at the top, and I'll show you here this little thing at the top, click on that, click on Insights, and then it breaks it down by accounts reached, accounts engaged, total followers, sort of in that overview. And then once you get to, you click on the accounts followed, and it shows you a different breakdown, all of the demographics and things, the growth of followers, top locations, age range, the gender. We're at a pretty even split, 50.3% women, 49.6% men. And then at the very bottom here, I'll hold it up again and try and scroll for you. So this is the top. Oh, didn't mean to click that. And then as you scroll down, it shows the different demographics, everything. And then once you're down at the bottom, it shows the most active times. And it breaks it down by hours. And then if you click days, it shows the best days, which if you're on YouTube and you can see this, it's just another bar graph. The days breakdown really isn't that significant of a difference. The top days at 207 followers. That's, how many followers are actually on the app and engaged that day on Friday. And then 189 is the lowest on Sunday. So not super helpful there. The time of day is a little different, and it breaks it down by different days. So here's an example of what Monday looks like for the Hardin Digital Instagram account. And as you can see, 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., very low activity. Obviously, most people are sleeping unless you have a pretty big international following. Then your analytics are kind of all over the place. But then it starts ticking up, starting at 6 a.m., and then goes on a little higher at 9, and then kind of peaks at 12, stays the same all the way through 6 p.m., and then kind of dips down again around 9 p.m. So that's specifically for Hardin Digital. And again, I could probably pull up a different account that we manage here and be similar, but it could be a little different. Instagram, pretty straightforward in terms of when people are most engaged and most active, but so that's Instagram, and those are a little more in depth than TikTok. Facebook, again, kind of disappeared. Who knows where that one's at? LinkedIn, I haven't explored a whole lot, probably very similar, if any, but one thing that we do have here at Hardin Digital is we use Agorapulse for all of our social media scheduling, analytics, reporting, all of that. We found Agorapulse to be the most cost-effective tool for what we're doing. So especially kind of the analytics reports, these are awesome, and we're not sponsored by Agorapulse by any means, just showing something and promoting something that we truly love here at Hardin Digital and Design. And one of the great parts is the reports, like I mentioned, and this is kind of a breakdown of one of the sections of the report that we get each month, and that's the user activity. And again, this is just polling. You can see here the average day and hour users interacted most with profiles content based on inbox activities, mentions, and direct messages. So this is specifically to when followers are engaging with your account, which can vary, where like the Instagram is kind of just overall when your followers are on the app. This one is specific to your account. So if you see here, this is specifically for the Hardin Digital Twitter. Most active Monday at 12, Tuesday at 3, Wednesday at 8 p.m. So that's kind of all over the place, which is great. Like, obviously, I think the trend here is, and there's some little darker shades of blue, or lighter shades of blue, that show like really the middle of the day for Twitter is the best, 12 to 8 p.m. And that's, again, just specific to Hardin Digital Twitter. And we go to Facebook now. And again, it's based on activity, inbox activities, comments, private messages, and posts, specific to Hardin Digital. So you'll see the most active one for this one is Friday at 4 p.m., which kind of surprised me. Late Friday afternoon. A lot of people are usually doing other things besides sitting at home or sitting on their computer or phone, scrolling, because it's the start of the weekend. But in the last 30 days for Hardin Digital, that's been the most active and engaged time for our specific accounts, followed by Tuesday at 11 p.m. That's just way out there. And again, we can just, for another example, if you are following along, we can go and look at Instagram. Wednesday at 10 a.m. is the only spot that shows up. So my point was showing you all these different breakdowns for the different accounts, is that even with a platform such as Agorapulse, it can really just be so varying, and like, yes, it's accurate per se, but the true, like, you don't want to just stand fast and hold true to, oh, well, the analytics said this is the best time, or we can only post Tuesday through Thursday at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. That's simply not true. The best method when we get asked this is test it out. So you have control of when you schedule your content. If you're not scheduling content, you should be, because then you don't have to be glued to your phone or to your computer, even when you want to start testing at different times, and scheduling posts at different times. But back to the testing, it is the best way. Yes, you can ask a pro, you can ask a social media manager like us. Really, the best way to figure it out is to schedule posts at different times, different days, mix it up and schedule a post over the weekend, see how that does. The only way that you can really accurately gauge the best time for you to be posting for your brand, for your business, for your specific profile, is to test it out and see what works for you. And yes, that kind of takes being more thorough and looking at each individual post, but do it kind of on a week by week basis, or every 2 weeks. Just scroll through and be like, and look at the day and time that you posted something on Instagram, and okay, how many people did this reach, how many accounts were engaged, how many people commented, liked it, all those different things, and then kind of keep note of that, whether you actually write it down, put it in a spreadsheet, or just make a mental note and be like, okay, Tuesday at 9 a.m. worked best. It got more engagement, more people are on scrolling during the middle of the day versus posting during the middle of the week at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. So with social media, it's awesome. Unless you're like really trying to drive a specific product or a specific event or things like that. With more of the fluff material or feel good material on social media, you have the flexibility to mix up when you're posting it without fear of, oh, nobody's going to see it, or we're not going to get any engagement, or we're not going to get any link clicks, or drive people to our website. And if you're really concerned about that in the first place, which, yes, it's important to do, that's ultimately the goal, is to get people to, whether it's click on your website, engage with you, sign up for something, become a client, whatever it may be. That's obviously the ultimate goal with social media. But if you're that concerned about it, where you're like, oh, I don't want to test it out because I don't want to fail and not get engagement, then maybe you should explore running ads in the first place, so you kind of get that guaranteed, or more likely of a guarantee that you're going to get those link clicks or those signups or whatever it may be. But for the fluff post and the feel good post and all that type of stuff, 100% my best answer for when you should be posting on social media for your business or your organization is test it out and find out for yourself. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell a client 100% Wednesday at 11 a.m. for all of your platforms is the best time to post, because it's the middle of the week. That's when people are on social media, middle of the day. Frankly, that's just not true. It can vary 100%. And honestly, to give you some feedback or insight into what I kind of saw for the longest time, on some different platforms, and this was kind of, I have an outside view compared to somebody who's just running one specific brand's accounts. I have the outside view of managing all of these different accounts that we do for Hardened Digital and Design, where I can sort of see trends and developments where we're getting more engagement across all of the accounts that we manage, or all the Facebook accounts or all the Instagram accounts and things like that. So I've kind of put together my own trends in my head when I'm going to schedule out content. And I know Hannah, our account manager, has kind of done the same thing. And so to give you some insight, just personal beliefs, and don't hold true to this. Again, it's just kind of what I've seen industry-wide, is that, for the longest time on TikTok, we were seeing more engagement when we were posting late at night. And whether that's because people are doom scrolling on TikTok, laying in bed, not going to sleep, or it's posted at night. So then when people open up TikTok first thing in the morning, it's one of the first videos they see. Whatever the reason it was, we were getting a lot more views and a lot more engagement on TikTok videos when we posted them like 10 or 11 p.m. or later. It's kind of shifted, I think, for me personally, and for the Hardened Digital TikTok, which I posted 2 yesterday and got over 1,400 views, I think, on a video that I posted at like 9 a.m. So I think it's kind of shifting for me. And again, that goes back to testing things out. I wouldn't have known that if I would have held that video until 11 o'clock at night, just because that was my belief. So I tested out a different time, and hey, I found success. Got a lot more views than I normally do. Yes, our TikTok account is pretty lame and weak at this point, so give us a follow at Hardened Digital, and you can get another view of the podcast studio, because I posted a video about the podcast studio yesterday. So if you're not watching on YouTube and you kind of want to get a quick glimpse, go check it out. I also posted pictures on all of our other accounts, side note, so go check out at Hardened Digital, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and you can see another inside look at the podcast studio. But so yeah, that was with TikTok. We saw a trend of late at night, tested it out yesterday. Real-time analytics that we got more views for the Hard and Digital TikTok in the morning yesterday. Facebook, I've always kind of had the long-standing belief that late evening, early night is kind of the best time industry-wide that I've seen to post on Facebook, because people are after dinner or sitting around the dinner table, scrolling through their phones, not talking to their family, or every time it seems like you can't watch a TV show in the evening without just sitting on your phone and scrolling as well. So there's a lot of people engaged and active on Facebook between the 7:30 to 9:30, 10 o'clock time frame, when they're just lounging around at home, watching TV, playing video games, whatever it may be. They're scrolling through social media. And I think specifically with Facebook, I've found more success on Facebook at that time frame than any other platform. Twitter is all over the place for me personally. I couldn't sit here and tell you the best time. I think if I had to put a guess on it, I would say middle of the day to late at night again. There's a lot of people. Twitter is such a diverse platform that there's people on it for many different reasons. I think there's a lot of people business-wise and things like that are engaged on Twitter throughout the day. So I've seen a lot more success tweeting and having those conversations just by the nature of what I'm posting about during the middle of the day. But then when I kind of switch it up and it's like posting videos and pictures of dogs late at night, I think there's a lot of engagement there. So more of the fun side of Twitter, I think, is late at night. The not so serious post and business related post, Twitter is late at night. But again, it's just all based on your specific followers and things like that. I'm not even going to touch on LinkedIn. That's admittedly the platform that I engage least with personally on the business side, and I have not dug into the analytics as much on LinkedIn. But if I had to guess, sticking with the kind of business related world, the professional side of things, is that there's probably people engaging LinkedIn while at work, maybe on their lunch breaks. So I think sticking to the middle of the day, early afternoon, probably, if, again, just I had to throw a guess out there, that's when I would recommend for LinkedIn. But again, I'm not just going to sit here and tell you only post at these times, or if you post at this crazy time, you're not going to get any engagement. Outside of the after midnight to 5 a.m. range is probably the only time I'm going to recommend not posting. And unless, you have an international following, which a couple of our clients out of New York do. So early morning posting, I guess if you do have international followers or international engagement for your business or brand, early morning posting, anywhere from 3 to 7 a.m. might not be a bad idea. Just you're thinking about the time frame or the time zone difference, whether it's Europe or Asia or whatever. Again, you kind of have to skew that based on where your audience is at, and you can definitely, all of the social media platforms have a breakdown of your demographics and will show you where your followers are at. So I can 100% tell you that you can find that information on the native analytics accounts and things like Agorapulse or Buffer or whatever you use to schedule your content, Hootsuite even. Man, I miss Hootsuite. That was my first one that I used when I worked for the state. and used it the longest. I actually started using it in college as well. So Hootsuite was the original for me, but moved on to bigger and better things with Agora Pulse. But yeah, just some thoughts there. It's something that gets brought up to in the social media management world a lot, and clients ask it a lot. Potential new clients that are, when we're having consultations, that's a question that gets brought up, and I won't tell you specific times, but there are those conversations that I have when I kind of rely on those industry wide trends that I personally see. That's what I'll discuss with clients, but then I always leave them with the potential new clients. I always leave them with the side note of the whole testing thing again. So to answer the overall topic of this episode, there's no exact answer. If you're reading blog posts or listening to another podcast and they try and tell you without knowing anything about your business or anything about your followers or anything like that, a specific time, run the other way, because it's likely not 100% accurate to you. They might give industry trends like I have, that's more of an accurate reading across the industry. So I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts on the topic. I'm kind of surprised I haven't touched on this before, because it's really like it comes up all the time. And what sparked me thinking about this today is that I just saw a blog post of best times to post on Instagram for 2023. And it's like these companies, these bigger companies, honestly, I see them a lot from the social media management platforms like Later.com and Buffer and Hootsuite and Agora Pulse and things like that. And they're always pushing best times for the new year going into 2023. And it's like, it's really not changing that much year over year. They just use it as an excuse to talk about it generally. And then they're always just promoting their product and pushing their product on people. Oh, you didn't know you could do this? Well, use our app and use our software and we'll show it to you for whatever you pay, not for free, but well, that's one of the benefits you get from using our platform, is that you can see all these best times and blah, blah, blah. So it's something going into the new year. There's going to be blog posts, likely just pushing a product or software. So be wary of that. But that's kind of what sparked my conversation or my thought process today. So glad I finally talked about it. It's needed to be talked about because it's such a relevant topic all the time. So yeah, other news in the Hardened Digital and Design world, to kind of wrap things up. I know I usually give kind of some general updates about what's happening at the business and things like that. And if you're a diehard Digital Wrap Up listener, which shout out to you guys, the few and the proud, you probably noticed that we didn't have an episode last week, and partially, well, 100% my fault on that, but something just out of my control. The Wednesday, which is since I started started back up producing a podcast episode every week. Wednesday has been my day. I block it out on my schedule for 3 or 4 hours every Wednesday morning is when I plan, record, edit, publish, all of that. Just knock it out Wednesday morning. Well, my Wednesday last week kind of went crazy. And when clients say Wednesday morning is the only time I can meet, I'm not going to be like, no, I have to record my podcast, because the work I do for my clients always comes first. So my Wednesday morning got filled up right away. And then I was like, well, I can push it back and do it later. As the week went on, it just seemed like, hey, everybody wants to meet on Wednesday of this week. I don't know what it was, but my entire day was filled, back-to-back meetings, consultations, which is great. Business is great. And then wrapped up the day playing golf first time using an indoor golf simulator, so that was pretty cool. But just things happened and progressed Wednesday that led to not recording an episode. And stressed about it. I was like, well, I can come in Thursday. Well, Thursday ended up being pretty busy too. And I was like, well, I can come in over the weekend, which I've been trying to avoid. But ended up just, hey, we'll push it off. We'll talk next week. And as long as I don't let it slip into another 2.5 month hiatus of not publishing a podcast episode, I think I should be fine. So sorry if you missed us last week. But we're back again on YouTube. Check out the last 2 episodes on YouTube. Really good. Talking about some top 5 lists with graphic design mistakes and analytics that you should be measuring and looking at. So definitely go check those out. They're very informative, and I can give my definite answers to those. Well, I didn't do that for graphic design because my graphic design answers, top 5 mistakes or top 5 things to do would be the absolute wrong advice. So, but had Kaylee on, business partner and creative director here at Hardin Digital and Design. So very insightful there. If you are a social media manager or somebody who creates graphics for your business for social media, or a flyer for your business, whatever it may be, it's super insightful for anybody who's tried to create anything on a computer or phone that's supposed to look good and doesn't. So check out those previous 2 episodes again, youtube.com/@HardinDigital to watch and see this beautiful banner in the background and see my office. The Office is my favorite show, so I'm just going and got the new desk for this office, and I saw 2 Office canvas prints, and so I wanted to spice up the office a little bit. But I don't know if I've showed anybody this yet. Wow, I was terrible. My favorite decoration, again, Office themed, and if you love The Office, you'll understand why I like this snow globe with the world's best boss coffee mug inside of it. So that is now proudly sitting on the corner of, and it lights up. I never really turn on the lights, but maybe I should do that before I record each episode. So those are the benefits of watching on YouTube, besides getting to watch me ramble on for 30-45 minutes. But it's another cold, rainy day in central Indiana, so that's great. But at least it didn't snow. Heading into the holidays soon, it's crazy to think that the next week or the end of next week is Christmas already. So December is just always a super busy month, and looking forward to the holidays. Hope you are too, and stay safe out there. I know that a lot of sickness and health issues are coming up with flu and other things. So hopefully you stay safe. Hope you have a great week, and we'll be back next week for another episode of We'll be back next week for another episode of the Digital Wrap Up.